You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
I'm Stephen Cabral, and I'm excited to get started on this Friday review. I love the Friday reviews, love bringing you a lot of the research that I did in the past to get me to the point of where I am today, but also a lot of cutting edge things, and that's where I want to start. So I've actually have a great book to review, an Ayurvedic course, because there's so many health practitioners out there right now listening to the Cabral Concept, which I, of course, really appreciate those listens, and also you passing it on to your clients and patients. That I get a lot of comments on, and of course I appreciate that as well, and some supplements. But first I want to get into the research. So some of that cutting edge research, this was actually just done by Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. So that's how I know a lot about this as well. Is I get a lot of the feeds of the research that's coming in every single day, and so I can bring that to you pretty quickly on these Friday reviews where I talk about research, and of course throughout the week as well. But one thing they've found, and this has now been over and over, so this is not new research, this is more cutting edge and more exact dosage wise, meaning if you've had a heart attack in the past, or you have any cardiovascular-based condition, ideally before you even have a heart attack, what they're finding is that a dosage of about 4 grams of omega-3s actually showed a 5.4% improvement in heart function compared with a decline of 1.2%. Now that is clinically significant because most people, we'll put it this way, who aren't doing any fish oil at all are actually declining, whereas even if it stopped the decline at all by using omega-3s, that would be great. But what they're finding is that people on the omega-3s, a little bit higher dosage, just 4 grams per day, which isn't that high because it's so easy to get just in a teaspoon and a half essentially, that they are actually showing improvement, meaning their heart's getting stronger. So I thought this was remarkable. I'm going to link up in the show notes the omega-3 that we use because you can't just get any omega-3. Like you honestly do not buy omega-3s at your local pharmacy or Costco or Target or Walgreens. And again, there's nothing wrong with those places. They are absolutely fantastic for buying, paper towels or toilet paper or toothpaste or anything like that in bulk. I get that. We do it ourselves. It makes perfect sense, right? But you don't buy your nutritional supplements there. Like that is not a great idea. You want to get a little higher quality of product. And if you're buying your nutritional supplements in the same place you can buy your toilet paper, there's just something wrong with that. So let's get each one where they obviously deserve to be picked up. So again, really important to me is that you just spend your money on quality products. I'll link up what I use in my own practice and that I recommend to you. Now, let's get on to some of my book reviews and course reviews right now, and then a great nutritional supplement that I use myself. So there's a book called Super Immunity. I figured as we're moving into the fall season, kids are back to school, back into kind of work routines, all of those things. There's a book called Super Immunity by Joel Fuhrman. Now, Joel Fuhrman, he's a medical doctor. He's a big proponent of a vegan-based diet, which means no meats, no fish, no dairy, no eggs, no animal-based products at all. Now, a lot of vegans don't eat honey as well. They don't do anything that essentially came from an animal. But some people a little bit more lenient, meaning like they will do some honey, but that's pretty much it, right? So, because if you're doing eggs, that of course, even though it's not an animal itself, it is the start to obviously an animal. So let's get into what he talks about, because to be honest, I appreciate both sides of the fence, meaning like veganism, vegetarianism, and then there's paleo right on the other side where there's more meat eaten. Well, all I want to do is take the best of everything. That's my belief, is that literally, if you've ever heard of Bruce Lee or his style was taking the literal best of whatever he could study. And that's my philosophy, is that nobody has to be right. And in the end, everyone's right, but no one is fully right when you're so far to the left or so far to the right. And I totally get why some people are completely vegan because of animal rights-based issues. Like the thought of killing an animal doesn't make a lot of sense to them. And I can appreciate that as well, and is more where I lean. But I can also see how some people, when they're not well, may do better with nutritional-based products that are a little easier to break down, and maybe they do better with some eggs. And so again, I'm just trying to base on each person, customize it for them. But I am a proponent of saying the amount we eat in the US especially is absurd. Like eating animal-based products at 3 meals per day is not only is it not healthy, it's completely foreign from what our bodies were used to. So I'm not going to go down the paleo-based path today. Let's talk about superimmunity. I'll save that rant for the future. But what I want to do is, instead of you reading maybe the 250-page book, which is worth reading, it's a great book. And again, you should read everything, consume everything, and understand that you can take bits and pieces and really make it great for yourself as well. On page 130, he goes through his components of how to boost your immune system. And I really like these. So eat a large salad every day. Now, again, there are caveats to everything. Eat a large bowl of vegetables every day. If your digestive system is weak, you're probably not going to be able to break down a lot of lettuce leaves. So eat a large bowl of vegetables every day. Now, eat at least a half-cup serving of beans, legumes in a soup, salad, or another dish once daily. And again, if I have a lot of people on FODMAP-based plans, if your digestion is strong enough, you want to do this. And again, you can work towards that. For example, sprouted mung beans or sprouted lentils are pretty easy to digest. If you've had issues in the past with beans, you might be able to do this. Or you might be able to do some hummus. Hummus you can get from sprouted chickpeas, and that can be easier to digest as well. So you're going to make it work for you. Eat at least 3 fresh fruits a day, especially berries, pomegranate seeds, cherries, plums, and oranges. Those are just some that he's recommending, and that's because a lot of those are high in vitamin C. But again, if you look at berries in general, blueberries, which are pretty much my favorite, wild blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries, cherries, all of those are packed with antioxidants, and that's something that he's a proponent of as well. Eat at least 1 ounce of raw nuts and seeds a day. That's such a small amount. You can just basically do a tablespoon or 1/4 of a cup of nuts or seeds per day. Pumpkin seeds, that's a great one that not a lot of people are adding right now, and it's high in zinc, high in iron. Those are absolutely fantastic for you, and also they're great at killing parasites, so there's just an extra benefit right there. Eat at least 1 large serving of green vegetables daily, either raw, steamed, or in soups or stews. And soups and stews are just great for the winter season. They're nice and warming. They relieve a lot of congestion, especially sinus congestion for people like myself that are prone to. So really, really great. And then he's saying, avoid these 5 deadliest foods: barbecued meats, processed meats, and commercial red meat. So what does that mean? Well, it's basically, the high omega-6 meats. And a lot of those that have been smoked or processed. Why? Because they've been proven now through independent research to cause cancer, and they create inflammation. And there are extra omega-6s, which again is more inflammation, decreasing your omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. Any fried foods. Why? Because fried foods are fried in oil, and that increases the oxidation inside the body, which causes more free radical damage. Full-fat dairy, cheese, ice cream, butter, whole milk, and trans-fat margarine. So he's recommending not to have those. So I can't disagree with where he's coming from, but a lot of people can get benefit from some ghee or some grass-fed butter. And again, that depends on the person, but as a general rule, I have no problem with him recommending that, because I would rather have you do olive oil as a dressing instead, or some great avocado as a natural fat. Much rather that. And number 4, avoid soft drinks, sugar, and artificial sweeteners. Of course, hopefully that just makes sense. We want to stay away from those sweetened-based beverages. And then avoid all white flour products. And white flour products would be most processed breads. That's a great example. Or pastries like croissants and things like that are just processed wheat. So really great. That's how to boost the immune system. If you can implement even just a few of those, I think you'll be well on your way. All right, the next one I want to review today is called, it's an Ayurvedic healing course for health professionals. I may have even talked about this 200 episodes ago, but I wanted to bring you it today. So it's by the Institute of Vedic Studies, the American Institute of Vedic Studies, and it's by Dr. David Frawley. So Dr. David Frawley was one of the first American-born Ayurvedic doctors to really bring a lot of this information to the United States. So I wanted to bring that to you today. If you are a natural health practitioner, or you want to get more into really deepening your knowledge of Ayurveda, I'm not going to go too much into it right now, but what I would like to say is this is a course worth studying. This is a course worth looking into. And I've read quite a bit on Ayurvedic medicine. Of course, I've studied in India multiple times. I've studied in Sri Lanka. I studied in the Netherlands in an Ayurvedic clinic as well. And I will tell you this, Ayurvedic medicine is hard to get into in the beginning because it's so different from your typical Western-based medical philosophy, but it's worth it. Meaning, if you can just push a little further, believe it or not, after you've studied it for some time, you will be shocked at actually how apparent and how obvious it is to how it applies to Western medicine as well, and how most of what we look at in terms of Western medicine philosophy actually comes from Ayurvedic medicine, which then transpired a little bit more into Chinese medicine and into Egyptian and Greek-based medicine. So keep in mind, Ayurvedic is the original. They're the original form of medicine. It's taught to this day, and it's I think just the perfect adjunct to functional medicine or just overall how you're looking at body types in general. It's amazing, worth checking into. I don't get any credit, bonus, anything like that for promoting it. I just think that it's worth studying, and so I'd love to see more people get into it. Not the first step. Now, the first step is just start to read about Ayurvedic medicine, maybe get into some of the books that I've recommended in the past, and then if you want to deepen your level of knowledge and actually get certified to become an Ayurvedic health practitioner, this is a great course to do that. Now, the last product I want to talk about today is an Ayurvedic product, so I just thought it would blend in nicely. This is one of those ones that can be used by most people, and if you're living in the United States, great product to possibly always have on hand, and it's something that can be used on a long-term basis without any negative side effects. So the herb is actually called Ashwagandha. It's something that I've been using for quite a long time myself. It's something that I truly believe in, and I've seen the clinical studies now back it up, and there are quite a few. Like, this is not just something that's been around for a little while. It's called Indian ginseng, so ashwagandha is just, there are different names for it depending the culture that you're in, but in Ayurvedic medicine, it helps build up and strengthen the body. So it's called a rasayana, which simply means that it's a rejuvenator. And the reason why I started using it is because it's a powerful herbal adaptogen. That means people with adrenal fatigue or adrenal-based issues or stress, like central nervous system stress, what it does is it actually brings your energy levels up naturally if they're low, but if you get too stressed and you get too high, it helps to bring you back down. It helps to level out your nervous system. That's why it's so important for kind of like body types and mind types like myself, where you just get so maybe intense or passionate or love something a lot, and you just go too deep into it, and you're expending too much of your energy, not realizing that you can't give out all that energy, that you have to keep some of it within your own body as well. And one of the I love when I heard this meaning. Ashwagandha literally means to impart the strength of a horse. So it helps, again, not only strengthen your body, mind, but also your immune system, your central nervous system, which is why I started using it in the first place, is just to help balance that nervous system and not to let it get too far in one direction or the other. Meaning, like, I don't want to feel too fatigued, but I also don't want to get too amped up, too pushed in one direction. It's great for that. A lot of people might know products like maca, which are probably a little bit more popular right now, but ashwagandha was first, and ashwagandha is more powerful. So if you're looking for the effects in terms of like sexual health or libido or energy, it also works with that too, and brain based. So a lot of people are using it now for preventing or again, we can't say it prevents Alzheimer's, but in that direction, because it's not allowing for the high levels of cortisol, which we know then do burn out those brain cells or those neural synapses. So a great product, ashwagandha. Again, get it from a really reputable place. Get it wild grown. Get it organic. The product that I'm going to link up in the show notes is specifically for health practitioners. So I like to bring you the herbs that I would actually use in my own practice. So I'll link that up in the show notes. Feel free to simply just go to today's show notes. You'll get all the links for super immunity. You'll get the links for the Vedic course that I talked about, the research. And today's episode it's easy to get to. It's just StephenCabral.com/230. So /230. That's the name of today's podcast. And hopefully these tips helped. And if they can help anywhere else, feel free to just forward along that link to them. And hopefully, again, we're just starting to build a community. We're starting to share this knowledge with others. And if there's any tips, anything you'd like to bring me, anything you want me to review or look at in the future, I'd love to see it. Just go to stephencabral.com/ask Cabral, and you can send in all your tips and questions right there. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great weekend coming up, and I will be back with our host calls tomorrow. Are you ready to heal yourself and then go on to heal others? If so, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute can help you discover proven functional medicine protocols that blend the best of 7 different healing disciplines from around the world. I personally share with you the exact handouts and protocols I use in my private practice that enable people to get well, lose the weight, and live longer, stronger. I want to pass this information on to the next generation of health coaches, and that is exactly why I created IHP. We are the future of the health coaching industry, and the skills and knowledge you will learn will make you an in-demand certified health coach anywhere in the world. Although we have many medical professionals taking the IHP certifications, no experience is necessary, and half our members have no previous health certifications. At the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, our motto is a health coach in every home. Our goal is that you take this knowledge and then share it with family, friends, loved ones, your community, or in a practice where you create a career you love and can be proud of. The global IHP community is filled with some of the most kind and caring people in the world, and we can't wait to welcome you into our world soon. For more information or to set up a discovery call with one of our IHP Health Coach graduates, simply head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org.